Good afternoon. Welcome to Stahls TV. My name is Bob Robinson, and today we'll be talking about business beyond t-shirts or printing outside the box. Hopefully you all have a heat press, which is why you've tuned in, or you're considering a heat press. And so some of the topics that we'll be talking about today and some of the items we'll be pressing may be very commonplace for you. You got this. You could even teach me some of the tricks. But hopefully there's a good number of you that may be out there saying, man, all I know how to do is to print a standard t-shirt. Just a simple transfer on the front of or back of a t-shirt, and I need to know more. I want to make sure that I'm doing it right, and that's why we're here today. Before we get too far, I have just one poll question that the lovely and talented Karen Squibb will throw out there for you, and I'll let her do that now.
It looks like 7% of your viewers said 0 years to 6 months, so 0 months to 6 months. 33% 6 months to 2 years, and 60% have had theirs for more than 2 years.
Okay, that's a good mix, and so I think this could be really helpful. Everybody knows how, or hopefully by now has a pretty good understanding on how to press a standard t-shirt or just something flat on a standard Platens press. We're looking to go beyond that, and the reason we do that is while standard t-shirts and jacket backs and things like that are a great business model and a lot of money to be made, you've got a lot of other opportunity out there that you may not be tapping into just because it seems like, I don't know if I can do that. Well, we're going to show you that with the right equipment and the right accessories and a little bit of imagination, we can do a lot more than just fronts and backs of t-shirts. Going to go ahead and just slide over to the heat press. We're working with the Hotronix Fusion, so I'll meet you over there. I'm using the Hotronix Fusion because it is one of the most versatile presses that we have. What I love about the Fusion, aside from the touch screen up front here that's very accurate as far as time, temperature, and pressure, I love the interchangeable Platens. It was the first press that we created that had the interchangeable lower Platens. So this can come off and we can exchange some of the specialty Platens for that. That's going to be huge today. That's going to be almost the whole focal point of what we're going to be doing here today is removing and exchanging these Platens out. I also like the fact that there's full threadability. Underneath here, this is wide open, so I can now thread shirts and whatever items I have through there with no restriction. Had this been standing onto just a standard tabletop, the legs of the press could get in the way, and it could somewhat problematic to do a lot of the things we're looking to do. There's always a workaround one way or the other. Some are primitive and some are kind of crude and some of them are very professional, but we figure out very quickly we do what we have to do to get the job done. So hopefully we've got enough equipment and accessories here to do all the projects that we're going to do. I'm not even going to bother throwing a standard full-size shirt onto the press. But I will tell you that I love to thread. I love to open the shirt and slide it over, as you'll see. I like working with one layer of fabric. One layer of fabric is going to give me, it's going to get rid of, it's going to do a few things. It's going to get rid of the excess seams and the buttons and zippers and collars and all the things that could be problematic as far as getting even pressure, because that's probably the most neglected feature or the criteria of heat printing is the pressure. We think that it's fine. We get the time and temperature right. The pressure it's not that big a deal. It really is. Most of the failures that I have seen over my years has been because the pressure has been an issue. Something has been in the way, causing that not getting even pressure on the entire design. So love the fact that we were able to get that with this particular press. So I like to go with something that slides on all the way. It also helps, and we'll show in a little while as we get to some of the different items. There's a lot of them over there. They're kind of going to come randomly, so there's going to be a lot of changing here. I love threading it on because it also helps me keep the shirt or the image or the design or whatever object I put on here straight. Utilizing the actual platen itself to help straighten the shirt or the item. So we're going to start. It's kind of random. I got these stacked and I thought I had them in some semblance of order, but it's going to be pretty much just like what you have to run into, especially if you're doing an on-demand type of shop where people walk in and say, can you put something on this? Sure, I've got a cutter. I can personalize that for you while you wait. And then it's not a men's XL 50/50 T. I have to adapt. So what I'm starting with here today looks like a youth I lost part of my design. Looks like a youth medium. So 16 by 20 press, that's not going to work out so well. I could lay this right on top and do my best to press. Now, this being a full, at least a 7.5 ounce, if not a 9 ounce sweatshirt, there's a lot of insulating here as far as the temperature on the bottom. I've got collars, I've got this lower seam here, and with being a sweatshirt, this is going to be very thick. It's going to give me issues as far as pressure. So for me to get a design here in the center, I've got plenty of areas here, even the seams on the shirt, or the sleeves rather, that are going to give me a problem as far as giving me good pressure. So I love to thread that on, so I'll kind of work it in reverse, and I'm going to change out that platen so that it actually fits. On youth or ladies, the most commonly used platen is 11 by 15, and I'm going to go ahead and go to that now. This 16 by 20 on the Fusion has a simple release here. This lifts up. All of our presses have this feature now. The Fusion was the kind of the pioneer in this, and this is where we kind of conceptualized this, but now every press that we have has interchangeable lower platens. Putting it on in a portrait type of fashion, I'm going to take that shirt, and we can switch to GoPro now. I'm going to slide this out of the way here and get you back here. The other thing I like about this Fusion is I can either draw or swing away. And I use the draw feature just so I could change out the platens, but I like using the swing away version when I'm actually doing the pressing. So I'm sliding that on. Now you can see that these seams here are off. The lower seam is off. The collar seam is actually pulled slightly off. So now I have a perfect palette to lay this design out. Now I've changed my platens, and you're going to see this happen regularly, and I may even forget, and you can make fun of me if you like, but I'll need to double check my pressure. That is way too much. Time, temperature, and pressure, all key ingredients, till we get it just about right. I'm preheating this, especially this, because it's a very thick item. I mentioned something about the heat too. The other reason why I like a single layer of fabric is you really want to preheat that lower platen. The one underneath here needs to get pretty warm. That actually helps draw that adhesive into the actual fabric itself. This is a two-part image that I have here, and I'm going to do it in one press. You're going to see a lot of monogramming today because that's actually very, very trendy right now. Back to keeping things straight, the other reason that I like to put this on, thread it on, is because I can actually pull this all the way down and kind of let the shoulders seat against the platen, and I'm able to center it obviously that way, but also keeps it even left to right, and so I don't get cockeyed here, and then just pull it back until that collar seam is off the press. Now I'm pretty confident that I'm pretty straight. So if this isn't on straight, no matter how straight the design looks to me, if the shirt is crooked, then it's going to come out crooked. While I'm doing this, this is about that time that I usually say, I forgot to mention this early, but feel free to type in any questions that you might have. Karen will let me know that there's a question, and we'll answer those on air if I'm able. Both of these are hot peel, so I'm able to peel those off. And you'll see that I cheated a little bit. Sometimes you would press just this and then come back and do a second press, but I simply cut out the extra carrier here and here so that I could do this in one press. It's a time saver when it comes to pressing. Maybe not such a time saver at the very beginning when you're weeding and cutting your designs apart. But now, as you can see, as she flips me over, fully decorated, no issues, what you have is direct heat and direct pressure onto the shirt with no problems whatsoever. All right, that's one. Toss that to the side. Next, very popular, what do we have? Yoga pants. Not my size nor my style, but very popular with the ladies. So normally I would go to yeah, if I didn't have the right equipment and accessories, I would have to lay this over top of a 16 by 20. And I still am going to have these seams and all these different issues. So what do we have? A leg and sleeve platen, 6 by 20. Switch this. I'm sure we'll come back to that one. And so, you know, not only is it cool that we have the ability to do this, but it's cool to be able to offer this and to be thinking in terms of add-on sales. You know, we are no longer just saying, yeah, we do t-shirts, that's what we do. We can offer the full gamut. If you're selling to schools, if you're selling to, you know, any really organization, cheer and dance, this is a big deal to be able to add the add-on sales. Just not just the tops, but the bottoms as well. Now, I did a bad thing. You can make fun of me again. There's no pressure there because every time you change a platen, the pressure is going to be different. So I should have preheated, but I'm already looking at the potential time here. I want to make sure we get a lot of these in, so I'm kind of hurrying things along, but you would normally preheat that nicely. I will say that as you use your press on a regular basis, like over and over the same designs, this lower platen will stay warm and the need for preheating is minimized. If you press it and you see steam come up, press it a second time. Make sure you get rid of the steam. You're getting rid of the moisture and wrinkles. That's why we preheat. And it also gives you an opportunity to check your pressure when you're changing the platens. Make sure you got the accurate pressure. Looks pretty sweet. I can make a lot of money. You make money on the blank, but when you enhance it with something like this, it's personalized for the customer, value goes up tremendously, and with really not a whole lot of effort. Moving on. This is kind of a discovery project for me here. I like it. This looks like just a simple youth, or maybe not even so much youth or ladies again. But this is a little different. It's a raglan sleeve. And as we're doing this, we're actually seeing some of the trends. Raglan sleeves are back as the standard baseball shirt. This is another trend. And based on the size, I'm looking at that. I'm pretty sure in the size of my image, 11 by 15 is going to work again. Back on the 11 by 15. We'll do the thread. Make sure I've got the front. That's pretty important. Okay, so as I dress this, again, I slid it all the way down and I'm pulling this all the way up until these seams are a problem. That's a problem. Pull it all the way up until those are off. Now, I'll do what I was supposed to do. Lock it down and test the pressure. A little bit much. We'll pull it back a little bit. Looks good to me. We'll let that preheat while I get my design. Now, once again, I've cheated. This is a 2-color, actually a 3-color type of image. And I'm going to do at least, I could have gone crazy with it, but we'll just do this in 2. Here's the finished product. As you can see, it's right side up now, but it will be upside down when you turn it around. This area here, I've already got trimmed so it actually fit in between the letters, so I can do that in one press. To me, it's a lot easier to get the continuity of the design done up front prior to putting it on the shirt in case you get confused. And then we'll just add this little image at the end. I don't want to cheat too much. It's a nice time saver and a way to, if you're maybe have some additional help on the heat press that not quite as particular as you might be, you can make sure that the design is positioned properly, one to the other, and straight, and exactly the way you want it to look. Pretty good there, because we're going to peel that right away. It didn't get the full time, but I'm going to press it again. As you can see, I had 2 designs there. Cheater, cheater. And now, I'm going to go ahead and attach the last portion of that, about where it was. cover it because I have some exposed film there that I don't want to touch the actual heating element with, and press it again. I mean, hopefully what we're getting here, hopefully what you're seeing here are some practical tips and tricks on not only but inspiration, but some quick ways to do some things, some more efficient ways to do some of the designs that you're looking at. And of course, this is a hot peel, so that comes off as well. Moving on. It's not just the big kids that are marketable. Sometimes it's the very little kids. When I say very little kids, I mean onesie kind of little kids. So this can be, really problematic without the right Platens or accessories. Lots of, there's triple seams in some of these areas. That expanded area we try to get over that little guy's head, and all the seams and the snaps are at the bottom. So that's, just laying that on top of a flat press, that'd be real problematic. So we're going to switch out to a 6x10. Should make this one. I didn't actually test this one. I'm making the assumption. But I think we'll be good. Six by 10. Bring over our onesie. This is actually a big market. We're never going to stop making babies. And it's no longer has to be void of fashion. Even this little onesie here can be very marketable. Well, that fits like a dream. Slide it over. Definitely going to test the pressure on this one because it's extremely smaller. Should be nothing there, and it's not. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a crank down. Feels about right. Now this one will end up being a two-step because this is going to be the most elegant of onesies I think I've ever seen. Another very scripty monogram with some lovely faux stones around the outside. When I say faux stones, we've cut our hologram material in the shape and size of rhinestones to go around the outside of this. I don't think I'd want my baby to have rhinestones on his little onesie because there could be a lot of abrasion there. This all being CPSI compliant material, there's no danger to your child, and you get that very chic look for your toddler. Actually, it's not even a toddler, that's a newborn. Off goes that. And then we'll just go ahead and frame it with this. All the kids in the nursery are going to be so jealous. All right, I haven't seen a question or a comment from anyone, so I'm either really thorough or you fell asleep. But I ain't scared. I know you'll come around. That last one is actually a little bit of a warm peel, so I'm going to give that a minute or two for it to peel. Okay, so far we've done everything for just standard apparel, whether it be tops or bottoms. Shoes. I'm sure if you've been around this industry for a while, you realize that shoes can be done. These are actually already done. I'm just going to basically show you how they are done. Short of having all the right Platens, some people have actually used a little tack iron on this. It's a little bit dicey, knowing do I have the right temperature and the good pressure, depending on the size of the image. This is a nice, small little monogram on the side of these little canvas shoes. It could be other bigger size cleats. It could be soccer cleats with a number on the side or even on the heel. But these are a little more fashionable, little trendy shoes. So we have a shoe platen. Imagine that. Off with the 6x10, onto the shoe platen. That way. Shoe platen looks just like that for a very good reason. And it's designed to be able to take a shoe like this, and obviously you do 2 at a time, so you have even pressure on both sides, so both shoes would go on at the same time. You would lay your design onto here, and you'd press it. On bigger shoes, and even on this one it could be done, you can actually do the heel as well, like if you're doing a number for a actual cleat or basketball shoe or something like that. So not that tough. It's, again, add-on sales. Don't just say we're a t-shirt shop. No, you're a apparel decorator. That's what you are. You've got all the tools, you've got the equipment, you have the ability to either cut this or order them from Transfer Express or wherever, and I can pretty much handle whatever you throw at me within reason. Shoes done. Off with that. Doing hats, I don't have a cap press here, but it's pretty much a no-brainer. When you do the standard front or even side or back of a cap where it's curved, you use a cap press. Okay, and so you get designs. Imagine that magic of TV. Here's a completed hat with the front design on it, which is very, very typical where you would normally do. If you're an embroiderer, you know that's pretty much where you always embroider or where you apply with the heat press. But these days, it's a very common practice to actually start doing the under visor and even the top of the visor. So not only do we want the design here and on the side and on the back. I remember when I first started in this industry, I thought it was the coolest thing ever just to put a little arch design over the back of the opening in the back here. Well, now it's cool to be up here and under here, and we'll show you how that happens. But I think we have a question.
Are there different size platens for larger and smaller shoe sizes?
Currently there's only one size platen for shoes. It's kind of universal because there's not a whole lot of image space on the on any shoe. I don't care if it's a men's 13 or a ladies 5. You still only have so much area that you're going to be able to press anyway because there's a lot of stuff in the way. So these are all designed for very small images to go on the shoe itself. So this particular design handles almost everything that's available to you. What else we got?
What are all of the different areas of the shoe that you can print on with the heat press and the shoe platen?
Well, it depends on the shoe itself, and you can get creative. Don't let anybody tell you no until you try it. But the most common are going to be the side, also on the heel. I don't have, let's put it back up. Let's see what we can do. And this can work for sandals and things like that. Those are actually even more open because you've got a lot of different straps and things that you can open up lay inside of that. But I could probably get right here on top here. On a nice slip-on right here, I can actually do the top of the instep of this shoe. And there too. You know, obviously you always do 2 at one time. But most commonly, it's on the side, it's on this area, and then of course on the instep on this particular shoe. And you could do the tongue of a laced up shoe, but you're taking some things apart. You're going to unlace them and do that. So usually pretty much 3 areas. Anything after that, you're going to get creative. You can do whatever you set your mind to as long as you can get even heat, even temperature, even pressure on the design area that you're trying to apply to itself. We're going to segue back to that flat bill platen, which doesn't seem like it made the trip. I'll wait for my lovely assistant to bring in this anchor. I actually made her carry the heaviest platen known to mankind, and she's going to get camera time and everything. Wave to the camera, Karen. There we go. Thank you, dear. As you can see, when we brought that up, it looks like a big old ninja throwing star or a clover leaf, but it's designed like that for a reason so that we can actually take this flat bill. Now, it's not going to work for your curved type of dad hats, which are starting to get popular again, which I've never stopped wearing them. But when you're looking to do this area, we need to have a nice flat bill cap, which is the whole part of the trend. Your design, of course, has to fit the image, which there are templates for this in CAD Works Live. I'm not going to put that on there yet until I actually do a test on my pressure, because we definitely have made some changes. Too much pressure, back it down. Like it. And you can do as many as 4 hats at a time. As you can see the individual cutouts for them, but we're going to do just the one here today. Line it up accordingly. Lock. Not using a cover sheet. I know we tell you to use it all the time. I'm usually pretty always in a hurry, but in essence, my carrier of my heat transfer vinyl is the carrier sheet, so I don't worry too much about it unless I was going on to something that was very temperature sensitive and I felt like I needed to cover it all so I didn't have direct heat onto it. End result. Ta-da. Now, if I wanted to go up here, if I felt like I wanted to take off this coveted decal that's on here, I would simply turn this hat inside out. Do exactly the same process and lay that down on top of there, and then do the press on this side as well. So I could do top and or bottom, and I believe that, yeah, this hat that I have here actually has a logo on the top of the visor as well as under. So you can really pimp out a hat from top to finish. Now, again, I don't have a cap press here to show you, so all the other curved areas would be with a specific cap press, and that's the only way to do a curved area on a cap, is to use an actual cap press, because the platen itself is curved to match the hat. And there's a lot of different versions of this too to fit each style of cap that's out there for you, or at least get close enough. All right, done with the cap. While we are here, while I had this on here, now this platen was designed for what you just saw. It was designed for the under visor of the flat bill cap. Other uses for this have actually evolved and been discovered. Certain shoes, I don't know if this is even one that will do that, but at least the larger shoes, you can actually do that. I can do the sides of these shoes. Now I can't do the heel or any of the areas, but if I'm just doing that, this actually works for that. I'm going to segue into, I'm going to go out of, since I still have this platen on here, just a kind of a little bit of a hack when it comes to doing, say, football jerseys. Football jerseys, typical front, back, number, all those things. But then you get the sleeve numbers. Sometimes they go up on the shoulder. Sometimes they go on the actual sleeve down here, depending on the make of the jersey and what the preference is. Even some NFL teams toggle back and forth. I've lost track of who does what, but I know there were several that went onto the sleeve, but the majority went up on the shoulders, the TV numbers. This platen will actually work for that as well. Just a simple way to be able to get that on there, or to, if I'm doing the sleeve itself, that way. Not as effective as one more item that I like to use, and that is the cap press. Here it is. I've seemed lost. I can actually do these sleeves on a cap press as well. Picture this on the cap press itself, this platen, and again, I can slide this right over top of that platen and do those same sleeves. And this is one of the few times that I actually use the full size 4x8, because I can now get a near 4-inch number onto the shoulder. So a lot of options to use some of these platens that are designed for one thing can be used for other things. So they're kind of utilitarian. Get rid of those things. Next in our bag of tricks, I know it's not going to require this, so this is coming off. More sweatshirts, or in this case a hoodie with a pouch. Again, very thick, a lot of seams, the pouch is in the way, so we know we only have this area right here for us to embellish. Again, difficult unless you have the proper optional platen. I think 11 by 15 will work on this. Depends on the design. If the design is small enough, I can go with a 6 by 10 or an 8 by 10 and give myself a lot of room. This time I'm actually turning it landscape so that the 15 inches left to right, so I have maximum front area that I can press. The reason I go to the larger platen as much as I can without creating a problem is it helps me to see more of the shirt and keep it straight. If I just had a little, even though this could have just been a little 4-inch circle right here, if I just put a little 4x4 platen on there, I would not know if my shirt was straight or crooked or turned sideways. Here I'm still getting a good overview of the entire shirt, so I can pull this out. I actually have my little printer's fold here. Thank you very much, whoever manufactured this, Gildan, for giving me that little another cheat that can help me center things up nicely. Too much pressure, backing it down. While that preheats, we'll get our design. We preheat why? I can't hear you, but I know you're chanting to remove moisture and wrinkles. I'm confident that the shirt is on straight. Now, as long as my eye is straight, I will get this design on as straight as possible. And the only real thing I have to go by is the lower name here. It's the only thing that's actually kind of parallel to the seams. Everything else is circular. Lock her down. Just like that. Notice we avoided the seam here on the pouch. We avoided the seams up here, even more than the seams. We've got these drawstrings with knots in them. All those things could be kind of nightmarish to do if we didn't have something to raise up that image area. Now, not always do you have to. If you don't have every one of these platens, though I recommend several of them. Our best sellers are 11x15 and 6x10. The other specialty items, they're just, I mean, if you're going to do shoes, you got to have a shoe platen for the most part. And the flat bill, those are specialized, but very utilitarian. 11x15, 6x10, those are the two most commonly purchased. And after that, maybe the 8x10. I'd have to look at sales beyond that to see which one are purchased after that. But those two are, you get those in your shop, you can do a lot of stuff that you couldn't do before without a lot of effort. It's not to say that you couldn't do them before, you're going to do them much more efficiently. You're going to do them without a lot of effort, and you're not going to be spending a lot of time at the heat press when you could be doing additional items. So not everything has to be platen oriented, because we do have other accessories. Now we've got this lovely lunch bag, insulated lunch bag, and anybody who's ever pressed one of those has probably melded these together at one point or another. We've all done it. It's okay. This is a safe place. But what they've given us this one area right here with this little pocket for us to press. So it's a small image area here, but I don't have a platen that will fit in there. I just don't. It's just too small, especially if I want to utilize the full area for the most part and put a design that size on top of that. And you can't really see that very well until we get onto the actual press. So what I've done, we actually make and sell different sizes of these Print Perfect pads. These are siliconized rubber, just like what's on the bottom of the platen itself, but they come in different sizes and shapes. This is a standard left chest size. I think it's a 4x6 or 5x7, something like that. Doesn't matter. But of course that wouldn't fit in here. So I've actually customized and used my fancy scissors and cut this out so that I can actually insert into this pocket, raising up just this image area. Now what we've done is we've gotten away from these seams. I'm not going to be touching any heat on the very sensitive stuff on the inside, and I'm able to now press this. Now I also do have to have a platen that will allow this to go inside of, so I'm probably going to go with the 6x10 here. Off comes 11x15. And obviously if you're in production, unless you're doing true one-offs as people walk in, you'll do all of your 6x10 work while the 6x10 platen is in place. I'm not going to keep going back and forth. Although it's not that hard to exchange, it's still more efficient to do all like while you've got the proper platen on. That slides on nicely. I've already got that pad inside of here. I cut it small enough so it just gets beyond even that seam. Now, two things are going to happen. I'm going to get my, excuse me, step away, get my cover sheet because I don't want to shine up any of this this polyester or nylon or whatever it is. But because I also need to do a test here. So I'm going to back that down a little bit. I've added extra thickness with that pad. And now I can, that's nice and even, it's already been preheated. I can just lay my design on top of there. Hopefully it's straight when I'm working off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and cover it. Yep, I do sometimes cover. And I lock it down. So it's not just Platens. Sometimes it's a combination of Platens and pads. And as we'll see probably on the next one, there's yet another hack or accessory that we can use to make our life simple and get some things done we couldn't do normally. Another cold peel product. Should have paid attention to that. Let that sit. We have a question.
How much would the heat press stand sell for, and do you know how somebody could search for that model of press online if they wanted to find it?
The particular stand for this Fusion, yeah, this is our equipment cart, and it's kind of multifunctional. It's very, very, very sturdy. I think it holds up to like 600 pounds. On the spot, I'm going to say $565 in that neighborhood for that particular cart. I would have to check that. But if you search the site under equipment cart, you will see it there. We designed it for the dual air Fusion because it is perfect for that, and that thing is extremely heavy, so it supports that nicely. And it's got nice large wheels, and it's a scissor cart, so it actually go up and down and adjust in height. So it's a really, really nice investment, especially. And so because it was such a nice piece of equipment, people have realized that it fit this standard Fusion beautifully just by turning it this way. So it's a nice deal. I think it's equipment cart, and I would say it's like $565 somewhere in that neighborhood for you. We got another question.
Could you explain the difference in the temperature of the materials and how you're getting them to be all kind of at one standard temperature?
Aha, you've caught me. I requested that we do materials that all are a very similar temperature for this because I don't have time to preheat. Now, I would love to have done transfer express things that go on 365, something like that, but it would have taken too much time. We only have 45 minutes here or so. So everything that we've done has been plus or minus 10 degrees around 320. So I'm set at 320 degrees now. You won't have that luxury with everything that you do, but if there was ever such a thing as a universal setting, it's 320 for 10 to 15 degrees, or 10 to 15 seconds, 320 degrees. So yeah, I've kind of cheated to a degree. I've made sure that we've chosen different materials that all fall within that, at least that reasonable category. Some of these things you actually may not want to wash because we're just kind of, but I would always make sure that my temperature is proper. I think we're actually safe with everything we've done so far. Another question.
What is the difference between print perfect pads and pillows?
Boy, did you just segue into my next section. Difference between print perfect pads and pillows. The print perfect pad is like we did here. We used it to raise up the image area so that we got away from all the things. So we actually took the area that we wanted to print and raised it up by putting a firmer material inside of it to raise that up. Gosh, that looks good. I should sell that. The pillow is a little bit different, and I'm going to actually demonstrate that on the next item. Maybe. I will. The next item is a polo shirt. It's a simple, looks like 100% cotton piqué ladies polo shirt. Very common, but as you can see, there's a whole lot of buttons on that placket. We have a whole lot of seam here and a whole lot of collar up here. So to do a standard left chest, which is 99% of what you would do on a polo shirt or a golf shirt or what do you want to call something. But so what I need to do here is I could do just what we just did, and I'll let you go back to the GoPro. And I'll go ahead and put the 11 by 15 on. And if I wanted to do just left chest using the print perfect pad, I would take this one and probably justify it just about like that and leave it there if I did a whole series of these. Thread this shirt on. Sometimes the non-slip or non-stick lower Platens can give you a bit of a problem. So I would actually make sure that pad was someplace up here in the left chest region. And then when I slid this all the way on, this particular area right here would be raised. So basically these buttons would go away behind that. I wouldn't have any of the seams here in the way, so I actually put my left chest logo right there and press it. The pillow, on the other hand, instead of raising up the image area, get rid of this. I happen to have a pillow right here. These come in different sizes as well. Here, we would actually insert the pillow inside the shirt entirely. So we're going to fill that shirt with a pillow. None of this is like super speedy, but it's not the end of the world. Now, we really don't even have, now we can just lay on top. We really don't have to thread because we still have separated the front from the back with the pillow. What happens now that I have this pillow in here is these buttons and seams that are here, they'll actually get pushed down into the softness of that pillow. That's just a piece of foam rubber that is wrapped with this non-stick material around the outside. So when I put pressure, this goes down, so that gives me maximum impact right here. So doing this, now not the danger, but something to be aware of when you're using a pillow, you can get a little bit of a false read on your pressure. So you want to make sure that when you're locking it down, you let the air escape out of it. I actually need to get that thing to flatten out a little bit so that it actually pushes down in there. So it may read a different setting as far as your pressure readout, but it's okay. And then we would just take that same design, lay it here, which is a little bit higher for ladies than men's, and snug over a little bit closer. That's a little bit larger to the design than most, so we'll keep that little justified center. The biggest mistake people make when they're doing a left chest design with it as far as location is they get it too far over towards the sleeve. And when you actually put it on, put a human in there, some of this actually wraps around and gets underneath the arm, so it isn't totally visible. We used flock on this, and I know that's a cold peel, so that one won't peel right away, but you will see that, you know, it'll stick. We just won't be able to peel it off until it cools. But those buttons and all the seams go down inside instead of raising up the image area, which we use for the rubber pad. Of the two, I'm more of a fan, personal editorial here, of the Print Perfect pad because I like to know that I've got exact firm pressure on the area that I'm pressing. Downside of that, if the fabric is somewhat delicate, you could get a chance to get more of an impression there, especially when you get into the polyesters and the performance wear. You may get some hard edges where that pad was around the outside that may not come out very easily. So it's kind of a feel your way through that one. But for a standard cotton, sturdy fabric like this piqué, I have no worries either way. A few more items. Some of them we may or may not press because we're actually running close on time. Again, some of these may be just somewhat inspirational. This is very simple. You would think I don't need to have anything special on this particular bag because it's just a simple canvas bag. But you know, you've got the straps, you've got some seams there. But again, the biggest thing to me is being able to put it on straight. So I could lay this on here. Do I have it on straight? I don't know. I'm not sure. But by sliding it on and letting this square edge and these hit this square edge on the bottom, I know that that is now parallel at least. Now all I have to do is center it by checking them how much space is on either side. So I'm pushing it up there snugly. I know that this is as straight as I can possibly get based on the way that the bag is made. And then put on, oh, what a very cheap way to broadcast yourself, Karen using her own name. No temp, no pressure. Huge opportunity here. That very, very affordable cotton tote bag became extremely marketable because now it's personalized with a very high-end glitter effect. Now it's chic, where it once was just utilitarian. Couple more, and then I'm going to let you go. There's so much to talk about with this. There's one platen that gets overlooked a lot. It's a 7-inch round platen, probably our least seller. It was designed originally, I believe, for the old style roll bags. duffel bags where they had the circular end, and so we could actually get maximum imprint on those round areas. I have found a few, and you never know when you need it, but this is one particular case that works out beautifully. This particular bag, it's difficult to do inside of here. I actually like doing up here. It's a little more visible, but it is somewhat circular, and I've got this area here, and the 6x10 may fit in there, but the hard edges may hit here. It actually works very well here. Sliding that right over top. Now I have a full 7" by 7" round area to put the design in, which may be in here. Oh, imagine that. I'm not going to press that because we don't have a lot. We're strapped for time. Same principle applies. I have used this for several other items. I've used it for the top of like a cadet cap, which was actually almost perfectly round. That worked out very, very well. I've got excuse me, I step out of camera for 1 second. A neoprene bag that has worked very well. It's the only platen that I could use to do this particular bag. Because good, it was semicircular up here. Nothing square would fit in there. It was just too many obstacles. That was the perfect platen for this. So it may not be, it may be the last platen you buy, but it actually is one that you can actually use if you work long enough. Lastly, before we finish up here, umbrellas. I'm going to quickly throw a 6x10 on here. Now, if I've got a huge golf umbrella and I need to open it up, then I need a caddy. I need that thing to stand up in the air, and so I have maximum access. But most of the umbrellas that you sell are going to be these type, the little collapsibles. You can see I've done this one already a couple times, but the principle still applies. I can do this particular umbrella on a 6x10 without opening it because of the threadability. There you go. On the Fusion. And I can slide this up here and get, because all we really care about is usually about a 4x4, 6x6 image right in this area, just like what we've done. So leaving it, all we do is just somewhat open it partially. We don't have to extend it or anything like that. Now I can actually lay this on here, lay my design on there, and press it. So don't be afraid of a lot of these different add-on sales that are going to make you money just because you haven't done them before. Let's get a little ingenuity and a little imagination and be a little aggressive. Lastly, I'm just going to throw a few items at you that will just help inspire. Don't forget about these items that could be used. If you're doing a lot of schools, you're doing sports, a simple spirit towel. There's nothing hard about pressing this. It's a simple flat piece of fabric. So it's the easiest thing there is in the world. So at the games, go team. Very, 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 very marketable, very, very affordable to purchase. Mark them up, sell them by the dozens. Wine bags, again, another flat item. Don't need a special platen. There's nothing in the way here, but it's just items that we've got out there that we can add on sales. So this isn't the practical portion of it as much as the inspirational portion of it. Fashion bags, workout bags, slouch bag, what do you want to call it? This case, we took a very basic jersey type of bag, but we really pimped it out with some really nice foil on the front of it. So now this became elegant, which was once, just very, very basic bag. Kitchen towels. I don't know if I would use this every day because it's got this beautiful monogrammed glitter flake on this area, but it's certainly nice. Looks nice hanging on the stove handle. Wristlets, more the same. This one might, actually that's pretty flat. I think I wouldn't have any problem putting that on a flat press too. That's probably the way this one was done as well, because it's already nice and flat. You only need the special platens and the add-ons if you have to raise up or bury the difficult areas. Messenger bag, no-brainer, big seller. You've got this area here. You've got a lot of options. Very sturdy. Don't be afraid of it. Usually a 6x10 platen will do almost everything on there. And then lastly, stadium chairs or camp chairs or whatever that need to be personalized. Simple. And these actually most of these will actually come off, so you can actually deal with just the fabric alone, or with the freestanding platen on a press, you can actually lay the entire chair on there. I like taking them off. We have one more question before we go. We're running a little over, but I appreciate your patience and your attendance. What do we got?
Are there currently any package deals for purchasing all of the different platens that you showed today?
There are. We've actually online there. You look for heat press packages or package deals. I forget how they're listed. When you go to under the heat press tab, you'll see package deals. And we've taken the most commonly purchased Platens and included in there at a really nice discount. We're not usually that much on bargain basement type of selling, but we value our products very well, and we're kind of the industry leader in heat presses. But this is actually an opportunity to get the press at a list price, but all the accessories, the ones you'll use the most at least, at a nice discount up to 25% off. So yes, they're there. Look for them. Take advantage of them. Okay. We're just running just a little bit over. I appreciate your hanging in there with us, and hopefully you've got something that helped you through this class. The next class that we have is going to be on the 30th. Josh is doing that one. It's going to be really cool. I think there's a lot of people signed up for it. If you haven't signed up for it, please do. It's going to be dealing with the trends of 2017. Everybody wants to know what's coming so we can get ready for it. So tune in for that on December 30th. That's a year from now. December 30th. Josh Ellsworth will bring that to you. As always, appreciate your attendance. Thanks for tuning in to Stahls TV. We'll see you next time.